Hi, I'm Shane Stanley and I'm a filmmaker. I produce, direct, write, and also edit a lot of my films. And I've been in this industry working as such for about 35 years. The latest film that I produced and directed that came out recently is called Double Threat, starring Danielle C. Ryan, Don Olivieri, Matthew Lawrence, and Kevin Joy. It's an action comedy about a young woman with associative identity disorder, and she encounters a guy who's on a pilgrimage across the country to scatter his late brother's ashes. At some points along the way that he wanted his ashes scattered. So they meet by a really interesting set of circumstances, and what he doesn't know is she's working for the mob and holding business at a cover-up in a liquor store that he stops in to pick up some snacks along his journey. And while he's there, all hell breaks loose. Some people come to snuff her out, and she ends up doing a lot of damage to them and escaping with him across country as they run from the mob. What inspired me to make Double Threat? Man, you know, that's a really funny story. My father, Lee Stanley, was directing a film in Mexico, and we actually drove from Southern California down to Laredo, which is about 700-800 miles south. And along the way back, we stopped at an old, gas station liquor store in the middle of nowhere in Mexico. And behind the counter was this lovely young girl who not only was very attractive, but completely out of place. She had no business being there, just from looking at the circumstances and the environment. So driving back, heading home, my mind started racing about what if this girl was working for the DEA, or maybe she was working for the cartel. And so I took some notes and put them in a drawer like most of us creatives do, and then about 4 or 5 years later, we were looking for a fun, inexpensive action film to make during COVID. And CJ Wally, a screenwriter that we work with, and I were kicking around some ideas, and I brought up this idea about this girl who was, maybe living a dual life. Maybe she was there as a plant, or maybe she had some kind of disorder that caused her to be the girl next door one minute and then a lethal assassin the next. And sure enough, in 4 days, the script for Double Threat was born, and we were making a movie. Oh boy, we had such a great cast and crew. Joel Leogan, our DP, was the cinematographer. We had Adam Sperry is our sound, and a great group of camera operators that ranged everywhere from John Salami to David Crawford to Austin Harris. Hair and makeup. The interesting thing was, though, because we were in the middle of COVID, we shot this at the end of 2020 when it was still, locked down and incredible restrictions on film. We only had a crew of about 10 or 12 people, and our cast was tight and our shooting schedule was tight, and we were confined to just a few locations. In fact, we had lost, I think, 9 in one day during production when the pandemic hit another spike right in November. And we got calls from all these locations we had scheduled to shoot, and they all called and said, sorry, you can't come here. And we just decided to stay where we were, which was a friend's film ranch in Santa Clarita, and made the rest of the movie and rewrote it as we went and just set the locations up differently and went ahead and made the film. Casting Double Threat was interesting. We had been in contact with Danielle C. Ryan before the pandemic. We were actually talking about doing another film with her. So we were already of like mind and knew we wanted to work together, and knew the talent she had, not only as an actor, but as a stunt woman and martial artist and equestrian and stunt driver. Danielle does it all. Once we had the script together, Danny was on board immediately, and then we reached out to Matthew Lawrence and Don Olivieri and Kevin Joy. And fortunately, all of them said yes. We had the perfect cast, And Mo Galini from Fast and the Furious gave us a day as well. He played Kevin Joy's father, who was the mob boss that was kind of sending his son and Don Olivieri's character on this, chase to end her life, the young girl Danny's life, because she was such a threat with all of the knowledge she had. And, they definitely wanted to take care of that, make sure she didn't become a problem. My advice to anybody that would want to make a film is to just do it. We have so many resources at our disposal now, whether it's cameras that shoot high quality, edit machines in your home computers or laptops, source music. I mean, there's no excuse for somebody who wants to be a filmmaker to not be a filmmaker. What makes you a filmmaker is you decide on a story that you want to tell, and you go out and you shoot it, you execute it, and you cut it. And my advice to so many people is to make mistakes, make them often, and learn from them. And as long as you don't repeat the mistakes and you grow from every experience, you're eventually going to find your voice and hopefully find an audience for the stories that you want to tell. You can see Double Threat anywhere from Amazon Prime, iTunes, In Demand, Vudu Fandango Now, Ubiquity, I think is how you say it, Dish, Hoopla, Microsoft Store, Xbox, Google Play, DirecTV, and Redbox. Check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. Thanks.